Hello, hello, and welcome to another TSW Tuesday. With some Great Western Railway pack today. I'm going to be running some services on the little DMU, because I do like that train. It's been a while since I've run on that one. Quite a while, actually. So let's jump in to the class 166 here. Let's find a good service to get us going. And let's make it a bit more interesting. Let's go with a winter blizzard to get us started, because it's been a while since I've run snow as well. So this should be quite interesting. It's going to be very, very hard for us to see. Let's see who's in the chat. Devon's in there, Chris and Katie. How you doing, guys? Good to see you all. Devon asks how my day is today. Not too bad, actually. It's been an okay day so far. Been a busy day with video releases for me today. You know, 2 videos out today and the live stream as well. So a lot of prep work's gone into getting everything out at the right time today. It's going to be much more relaxed tomorrow. Just a single episode of Marwell Manor will be out tomorrow, and then back to Genesis Alpha 1 and City Skylines again on Thursday. Nick's popped in the chat as well, and Spiros, good to see you guys. So let's find ourselves a good service to get us started. We've got an early morning Reading to London Paddington in the snow. Lots of stops, very little visibility at that time of the morning. This could be a real challenge. So I think we'll start off with this one. You're finally getting hold of Dirt 2.0, I hear, Katie. You've been talking about that for a while, haven't you? Is it officially out on Friday, or is it already out and you're just getting your copy on Friday? Right. Let's see if we can get everything up and running here. I need to stop at the next location. It's been a while, a real while since I've driven this. Let's get the reverser on. Let's turn the key first. I don't think the train's actually fired up yet. Let's try putting that in neutral first. Doesn't sound like the engine's firing yet. Oh, it's been so long since I've had to try and start one of these. Let's get the wipers on at least. Yeah, we've got no engine whatsoever. It's completely dead at the moment. Why won't the engine start? What am I missing? What am I forgetting to switch on? There's something I am forgetting to switch on. Yeah, we want night lights, don't we? Train preheat. Oh, I can't believe I've forgotten how to. Well, it's the emergency engaged. Let's disengage the emergency brake. That's in... Is there an engine start in this? No, it's just neutral, isn't there? Neutral or off. Alright, let's try it in the off position, first of all. Where's the engine start button? No, still not starting. Okay, let's... like I said, it's been so long since I've driven the 166, and I've never had... It's been an eternity since I've had to cold start it as well. It just doesn't want to start. We might have to abandon this and go to the tutorial just so I can figure out what I'm forgetting to do, because there is definitely something I'm forgetting to do. I just can't remember what it is. Otherwise I wouldn't have forgotten. Obviously. It's the train door controls down there, hazard lights, couple and uncouple, it's not there. It's not the compressor. Got no wipers either anymore, have I? Yeah, there's nothing. All right, so this has all started very, very badly. So because it's been so long since I've had to start one of these things, I'm going to actually load up the tutorial for the 166. Refresh myself on how to actually get these things started from a cold start, because, like I said, it's been so long since I've had to do that. And then we'll go back and we'll try that route again. Pecky's in the chat. I saw him pop up somewhere. At least I think I did. Yep, there he is. I see Pecky. Brian's in the chat as well. And who else has joined? Thomas, good to see you. What's my favourite route for Train Sim World? You know what? I honestly don't know. I love how peaceful and easygoing the West Somerset Rail Pack is. But I do long for a bit more speed on that sometimes. I am enjoying the Trans-Pennine route. I mean, this route with the 166 is actually a pretty fun route as well. It's kind of a toss-up between those, I think. At my seat, mate. There we go. Ah, Stefan's popped in and has finally caught the live stream.
First, you need to get the engine up and running. Start by unlocking the reverser using the master key.
Okay, so we unlock the reverser.
The handle into the neutral position.
Okay, I tried it in neutral.
That alarm is the AWS self-test system. You will need to acknowledge this before continuing. Press the AWS reset button. You need to charge the brakes before we start the engine to ensure the train does not roll back. Set the throttle brake to full service.
Okay, that's a bit strange because we didn't get the AWS warning.
Hit the engine start button on the desk to get the engine running. Now, set the headlights to day.
I can't even hear the engine, so maybe it was started and I just couldn't hear it.
Put the train in forwards so we're ready to get moving. Using the reverser again, set the handle into forward. By setting the throttle brake to off, they will start to release. Nearly there. Now apply some power and get this unit moving. Ease the throttle brake handle into notch 1.
Okay, so we missed out the AWS warning, but we didn't hear it beep. Everything else we kind of did. We tried starting it in neutral. We tried starting it in drive. Oops. It's my phone bogging. Just put that on Do Not Disturb. There we go. So let's go back in and try that again then. So we want Winter Blizzard, don't we? There we go. That's what we're on. Reading to London early in the morning. Mr. Watter's popped in. How you doing, Mr. Watter? And DQ is here as well. Katie says, waiting for Railway Empire, Great Britain and Ireland to return with new updates. Well, actually, the Calypso actually posted a message today saying that the new Germany DLC is dropping soon, very soon. And the update that I've been waiting on looks like that's going to drop probably the day before the patch or the DLC goes live. So let's see. Let's unlock the key. Put that in neutral. AWS is off, but we'll hit the reset anyway. Let's put the brakes into full service. Probably needed to start first, but never mind. Hold and start. Lights. I'm going to go night lights because it's late. Let's get my wipers on. Let's release the brakes. Try and get moving. And again, nothing's... I've done every step that we just did. I got my lights on, I got my wipers on so I can actually see out the window. I did the old engine start routine. Oh, didn't put the reverser in forward. That might help. There we go. There we go, we're moving. We got it sus this time. Let's keep it slow just to start with. I need to find my lights in here. I saw the switches. Let's get climate control. Doing something. Cab light on. Windscreen demister on. Train lighting on. And we are moving. There we go. Let's get a little bit more throttle. So yeah, the new Great Railway Empire pack is on its way. Those lights don't seem to be on at all, do they? At least I can't see them. Are they on? Oh, they are. They're just not particularly bright in cab. Let's see if the night lights do look brighter. Gonna touch more throttle. Yeah, it's slightly more noticeable, but not much. Alright, internal. Back to the driver's seat. Nick says he's really bored with his PS games. Needs something new. Anyone got any ideas? Needs more than just Anthem. Are you looking for some single-player experiences? If you haven't played Spider-Man yet, get it. It is brilliant. I loved that game. Very, 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 very enjoyable platinum trophy, that one. Martin says we got news on Bus Sim this week. We've had news on Bus Sim. There's nothing new. I mean, I posted, I think 2 weeks ago, I posted gameplay footage of Bus Simulator, and nothing has changed in the time that I posted that. And it was like a 20-minute long video from the publishers, at PlayStation Underground. So still no confirmed release date. We just know it's coming in spring. So in the next month or two, you would imagine. Does anyone know if the Thrustmaster HOTUS will function in Train Sim? No idea. I don't know anyone who's got a HOTUS that's got a copy of the game. I know someone who's got a HOTUS but hasn't got the game and doesn't have an interest in the game. So That's it. I know people who have the game, and I know one person with a HOTAS, and he uses it for Elite Dangerous and says it's brilliant for that. But beyond that, I don't know. Devon says he's tweeted something on Twitter. What, to me? I'll have to have a look at that when I'm done. How many trophies have I got on Train Sim World so far? Not as many as I should, because I've been playing this over two separate profiles. So I've been making. I got a fair few trophies on my original profile, and then when I set this new profile up, I lost some of that progress because I had to start from scratch. Although I have been sort of chipping away at some of them. They are quite time-consuming to unlock the trophies. You know, you've got to put in so many miles. Like 470 miles using the Class 47 on the Great Western, the West Somerset, for example. That's a lot of miles. I think it was the Class 47. All the collectibles. I found all the collectibles on West Somerset. I haven't sat down and started doing the collectibles on the other ones yet. But yeah, I'm a long way off getting a platinum on this. A hell of a long way off. But I'm going to keep chipping away at it. That's part of the reason we're doing these TSW Tuesdays, is so that I can run some services, you get to see the game running, I get to work on some trophies while having a chat with you and having a bit of fun. It's all linked. Brian says Red Dead Redemption 2 is excellent. Yeah, I've been wanting to get that so bad. It's just so expensive. You know, it's on sale in the UK at the moment, and even on sale, it's still 50 quid. it's just too expensive. I just don't have that kind of money. Mr. Water says they're still playing Spider-Man. It is amazing. It is an absolutely brilliant game. Playing lots of other games as well. He thought the new God of War was excellent too. I haven't played God of War yet. That's something else on my would like to get list, but is a way off. I'll wait till I can pick that up on a sale. Probably it might be on sale at Easter, I would imagine. Right, let's start braking. Oh, I just realised just how fast we're going. Yeah, we're going to need full service on this. Am I enjoying the Marwell Farm map? Yes, I am loving that map. Absolutely brilliant. It's a map that really does allow me to try and tell a story. Oh, we're very early. I've just noticed we don't have to be here till 6:53. And it's 6:44, so we're going to be sat around for about 9 minutes by the look of it, or 8 minutes, waiting to pull off. Didn't realise we were quite so ahead of schedule. Apart from a few seconds, we haven't broken any speed rules. Maybe it's just been very generous because this is the first stop on the route, or because of the weather, who knows. Oh, that's not brakes. That's accelerating. There we go. Keep going. Just a little bit more. Hitman's a good game. Yeah, Hitman's one of our PlayStation Plus games this month. I've been meaning to sit down and start playing that. I haven't really played and enjoyed Hitman since Hitman 2 on the PlayStation 2, I think it was. I tried Blood Contracts. I never really got on with that as much as I enjoyed Hitman 2 for whatever reason. So that was the last Hitman game I played, was Blood Contracts on the PS3, I think it was. I've got Hitman Go on my PS4, which is like that little mobile game that Square Enix released. I've done some of that on my old profile. I need to play it on my new one to get the trophies. I'm almost done getting the platinum for Lara Croft Go at the moment, which is a brilliant little Tomb Raider game. And I picked them up like ridiculously cheap. I'm not sure how much they are normally, but when I got them on sale, I think I paid like £2 or £2.50 for them. really, 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 really cheap. Nothing at all. They pop up on sale every now and again as well. So I mean, they're not that expensive anyway, because they're basically they're mobile games that have been ported over, but they are absolutely great little fun games to play just to kill a little bit of time. DQ is playing some Construction Simulator 2. Yeah, I like that game. I've been taking a little break from that. I was playing that quite intensely last month, sort of just grinding out some of those trophies. Not too far off a platinum trophy on that now as well. I've got all the collectibles. I found all 125 of the gold medals. Made a lot of progress on some of the jobs. There's some jobs you've got to do an awful lot of them though. And so I'm kind of just working my way through those at the moment. I think I've done about 70 odd jobs in total. Still a fair bit of way to go to get all of them done. Any news on a date for Subnautica? Not yet. Still waiting to find out what's going to happen with the console version of, or well, more specifically, the PlayStation 4 version of the Below Zero DLC. There's a possibility that it might get snuck onto early release for Xbox. Don't know if it will actually do that or not. We'll have to wait and see. There was a patch, actually, for PlayStation users either this morning, I think it was this morning, I retweeted. It's fixed some issues with the Seamoth, when you dock the Seamoth. There's also an end to those dodgy walls on the Aurora. If you remember, when I went aboard the Aurora, it was actually my second attempt, because my first attempt I got stuck through a wall and couldn't get back out again. That apparently has been patched, so you shouldn't have that issue anymore. So dodgy walls have gone on the Aurora. Something else as well. I don't remember exactly what. Let me see if I can find. Let's see. Less crashing, more reliable Seamoth docking, no more false walls in the Aurora. And that was tweeted out this morning, 17 hours ago. So that patch is available for PlayStation users. I don't know if Xbox have had a patch recently or not. I don't follow the Xbox version of the Twitter feed. The LLRR collectibles are hard to get 100 collectibles. He's got a 59 so far, hunting down the rest, says Killer Scott. He's completed the NEC collectibles. Yeah, so the only collectibles I've completed so far are the West Somerset ones. There are a couple that are really out of the way on that one. There's a couple that are down from the stations, actually along the route itself, and then there's a couple that are way off in the very distance, right at the far end of the route, past the final stop and out where the heritage line actually joins up to the main lines. There's a couple of collectibles down there as well. Have I got all the trophies on FS19 yet? No, not all of them. I've got most of them. I haven't got the cow breeding trophy. I haven't got the 100 contracts trophy, but I think they're the only two, I think, that I need to get. Pecky blames me for getting him into City Skylines. Yeah, I've had a number of people blame me for emptying their wallets for City Skylines, Railway Empire. What else? What else was there? Subnautica, Jurassic World Evolution. I got a few people buying the game because they watched me play that. People have watched me play this and bought the game as a result of that. Obviously Farming Simulator, but I think most people that watch me are either going to get the game anyway, or already have the game and just want to see someone else play. So yeah, I am responsible for hurting a lot of people's wallets. I apologise, but hey, at least you get the chance to see the games running and experience any potential issues before you buy the game. So I feel like I'm doing a public service. Dan says I'm a good/bad influence. I suppose that's one way of looking at it. I've even had people buying Genesis Alpha 1 based on my my playlist that's going through at the moment. DQ says developers owe me some kickbacks. I agree. Be nice, but I mean they usually send me, not everyone, but most of the developers have been pretty good in sending me a copy of the game for free. So I've had to pay for some stuff, and I've had to pay for DLCs and stuff, but yeah, it's like I said. I mean, that's why developers send out copies to to YouTubers, is so that they can get their game out there, get it seen by eyeballs, and then people that might not have thought about the game or even known about the game see it, watch it, like it, and buy it. That's certainly what's happened with Genesis Alpha 1. Hardly anybody knew anything about that game in the grand scheme of things. A small game from a small studio, published by a team probably more well known for their stuff from a decade ago than anything else. And I mean no disrespect to Team 17 in the slightest by saying that, but that's kind of where they were most prominently known for. And it just kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't even know about it until about 3-4 weeks. About 4 weeks before I got hold of my copy, and they just sent me a copy 2 weeks before it was supposed to be released. I asked them when the game comes out, could you possibly send me a copy to stick on the channel, and they gave me one 2 weeks early, which was brilliant. And people who had no idea about that game have seen me play it and immediately gone out and bought a copy. So it's worked out. It's done exactly what it was supposed to do by sending me the copy. We've got 20 seconds, and then we can get up and underway again. Just got one eye on the football. My team are playing tonight, Liverpool, up against Bayern Munich. It's going to be a tough game. I won't be reading out any scores, just in case anyone wants to watch matches on record later. So don't worry, there'll be no score spoilers. And I would ask anyone else who's keeping an eye on the football to keep the spoilers out of the chat as well. Stefan says, but because of me, he bought Subnautica Train Sim Construction Simulator and Spin Tires. Or yeah, I have that effect on some people. I just make them open their wallets and throw their money at the publishers. Mr. Water says, now that Marwell Manor is available, he thinks Farming Simulator 19 is getting mods as well. From actual outside sources now as well, rather than just giants, posting stuff from FS17. They're still doing that, and I wish they'd hold off on that and get through the backlog a bit more before they start pushing out the next batch of FS17 stuff. It's great that they're giving us this additional stuff, but I'd rather get it in the form of a big dollop of extra instruments and vehicles as part of a free update. Because they're going to have to patch the game soon. They know that, because there's bugs that they need to fix. And they're actually looking to supplement the terraforming tool. From what I understand, in the beta patch that's out there at the moment, when you terraform using grass texture, you actually get planted grass now. Or actual proper grass rather than just the flat texture. Which, I've been waiting for that for... for 2 years, over 2 years, ever since they took it out, because it used to be that way in Farming Sim 15. You rolled over a field and you just got full on grown grass in its place. I've been waiting for that to come back ever since they took it out at the end of 15. And 17, you just rolled everything away, and all you got was a flat texture. So I've been waiting over 2 years for that feature to come back, and it looks as though that is going to be included as part of the next update, which is currently being beta tested on PC. That's what I'm hearing. Obviously, not having a PC, I can't check these things, but I mean, that's what I'm hearing. I can't believe we're up to 70 miles an hour already. But I don't think it's a case of the game's going to get a lot better now that Marwell Manor's here. I mean, the game hasn't changed. It's just we've got a better map to play on. That's all it is. I've been getting a lot of flack for just not, stopping after Felsborough and just saying, look, I'm not inspired by these maps. I'd rather put out something that I'm enjoying doing. And it was exactly the same with 17. I played 17 for the first month and then stopped playing it for a month and a half, waiting for some of the mod maps to come out because I just wasn't inspired by Goldcrest. I'd already played Sosnovka to death from Farming Sim 15. There was no excitement. So as soon as the mod map started to come out, I tried Chellington. I thought Chellington was all right. I didn't love it, but it wasn't bad. It was something to get me back in. And then Oldstream came out, and I loved Oldstream. And then Drummard Farm came out, and that was the one that I started. And obviously, there were a couple of other maps in between as well, but Drummard was when I started my channel. And that was back in March, 2 years ago. So my channel is just under 2 years old now. But I didn't start playing FS17 every day until around January, February of 2017. So it was always going to end up that way with FS19. I was going to get bored of the base game map because Giants just, for whatever reason, they don't seem to make good maps. They make nice looking maps that just get boring very quickly. And so I was just waiting for a better map to come along that I could tell a story on, and Marwell allows me to do that. But the game itself fundamentally hasn't changed since that map came out. It's exactly the same game. It's just a better environment to play on. Pecky says the other game I got him into was Prison Architect. Yeah, that's an old game now. I enjoyed Prison Architect. Nobody watched me play it, really. I got about 20, 30 views on my videos. I actually purged some old stuff from the channel yesterday. Finally, I've been meaning to do it for ages. I purged my old Tomb Raider playthrough. I only did 9 episodes and stopped because no one was watching. And I also got rid of No Man's Sky because, again, I was getting like 20 people watching each week or each episode. I mean, this is way back when I had hardly anybody, subscribing to the channel. But even since then, no one's gone back and watched them at all. So, or maybe one or two people have done it. So it didn't seem the point in leaving them on there. So I purged those from the channel yesterday, free up a little bit of space in my video management. I might be purging some other stuff as well. I might be purging some of my old FS17 stuff. Katie doesn't like the landscaping tool in FS19. It's an acquired taste. I think it can be very useful. At the moment, it's kind of a bit limited. Once it gets this update that adds natural grass, I think it'll be better. I think it'll be a lot better. Because the biggest problem at the moment is you end up terraforming a load of grassland and it just leaves this horrible flat texture that just looks awful. So being able to actually put proper grass in will be a big improvement. And look at this, we're on time. It's 7:01, just gone, and we are here at Maidenhead, bang on time. Ziga, and I apologise if I'm saying that wrong, Ziga is from Slovenia and says hi. Hello here from the UK. Katie says there also needs to be more stuff for horses. I had a feeling that horses were going to be the trains of FS17. They were going to be a gimmick. They were going to get a big novelty. It's like, ooh, we've got this, and then after 5 minutes you go like that. That's how I feel about horses in game. I was curious as to how they were going to do it, but I just had this feeling that it was going to be just not that great, and that's how I feel the horses are implemented. There's too much involved in terms of having to train them. You can't. I mean, it'd be better, I think, if you just had them and they went through, or you hired someone to do the training or something, but something that wasn't quite so hands-on. I mean, you have a small stable with 8 horses. I mean, I know there's a brand new mod that only allows for 2, which I kind of like that small little stable. But the small in-game stable, which gives you 8 horses, that's over an hour of training. If you're going to do 8 horses every single game day, it's too much. It's way too much. You have to do that for 10 days, and then you sell the horses, and then you get another 8, and you start all over again. It's just, you have no time to farm because you're spending all your time riding a horse. Dan says, I was just about to watch your Tomb Raider series. Dang it. I don't believe you. I don't believe you in the slightest. DQ says, how dare I get rid of my old videos? It's an outrage. Well, tough. Stefan says, No Man's Sky seems pretty sweet these days. I have been toying with the idea of going back and having another look at it because, it had been out for a while when I started playing. And they just released the sort of base building update. Oops. And now since then they've added more stuff, a proper multiplayer. They've changed the way resources work. Resource management is not quite so extreme. Fuel is a lot more easily findable. The whole crafting process has been streamlined. I've been told it's a lot better from someone who has played it a lot more recently. So I may possibly go back to that at some point in the future, just to have a look at it and see what it looks like, and if it plays well, I might possibly consider bringing it back to the channel. We'll see. Dan says the dog in 19 is the most pointless thing ever. Yes. Absolutely. And what's frustrating about that is that when they announced the dog, when Lissatan first mentioned the dog, they said, it's not in there as a gimmick, trust us, it will serve a purpose. And the purpose was to follow you around and go woof. It was a gimmick. And a very badly implemented gimmick as that. I haven't even bothered with the dog. I haven't put it on a single one of my farms because it's a complete waste of time. There's nothing other than just keep jumping on top of objects ridiculously. Are we still on time? Just about. I'm going to eke forward just a touch more. 7:06, minute behind. We can get away with a minute behind. We can hopefully make that up. Any news on Truck Driver? Sodesco are making an announcement this week on their Facebook page. I imagine if they're on Twitter, they'll do it on Twitter as well. Certainly on their website, they'll make an announcement. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but we're kind of hoping that it's going to be a release date. I did check earlier today. They haven't posted anything yet. They posted about 8-Bit Armies and Zen and Racer again so far this week. So I'm guessing any announcement will be tomorrow onwards. I think it's a bit late in the day for one today. But yeah, they have said we'll be making an announcement for this week. So I'm watching their page to see what it is, and as soon as I know anything, I'll post it on Facebook and Twitter. So if you are following me on those mediums, then you can do, and you'll see it there. And no doubt we'll be talking about it next week in TSW Tuesday live streams. Like I said, I just hope it's actually finally a release date. Got to wait for the doors to close before I can actually set off. There we go. People saying I should have a bigger fan base because I'm amazing, apparently. Well, thank you for thinking that I'm amazing. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers. We're just a couple of hundred short of hitting 10,000, which is great. This time last year, I think I had 2,000, maybe 3,000. Somewhere in that kind of ballpark. And we're just a fraction under 10,000 now, so grown a lot in the last 12 months. Mr. Water says PC has a mod. Yeah, it's a script mod, so we won't get it on consoles. Katie says that she can't wait for Truck Driver. Well, we talk about it every week, really, don't we? We keep talking about how much we want to play it, and we hope it's not going to suck. Next week, hopefully, we'll actually be talking about when it's actually coming out. She's also saying that she wants Wreckfest on console. Still not entirely sure when that's coming out. I think next month. I think it was put back to March. We're going to slightly overshoot the station, I think. Well, not overshoot, sorry. We're going to be, behind schedule again. I'm not going to overshoot. I'm keeping an eye on my speeds and my distances. We are just going to overshoot the time period by probably about 30 seconds by the time we come to a standstill. Slow down a bit more again. It's entirely possible that both Truck Driver and Bus Sim could come out on the same, the same period, even the same day. It wouldn't be the first time that a couple of games I wanted to play come out on the same day. And it's a case of which one do you do first? I thought I just did. Oh yeah, I did unlock my doors. So I just want a good driving game, where I can sit in first person, get my my chair and hook the wheel up and just sit and do some casual driving. Truck Driver and Bus Sim are both games that are going to be perfect for that. Haven't seen anything of Truck Sim or Truck Driver on console yet, really. Not properly, which is a little concerning. Seen quite a bit of Bus Sim. Bus Sim does look to run very, very smoothly and very well indeed. Because the footage I was watching, and the footage, that 20-minute video that I shared, that was all running on a PS4 Pro, which is what I have. And so that gives a really good indication as to how the game is going to play when I get my hands on it. But, very little out there about Truck Driver in terms of console footage. It's all PC footage. So I do wonder slightly about that. Nick says, don't get my hopes up too much. It'll be like pure farming. Everyone wanted to play it, and that was the biggest letdown. No, Real Farm from Sedesco was the biggest letdown. Real Farm was awful. Absolutely awful. Pure Farming was better. It had glitches, had faults. I hadn't picked it up in a long time. I know it's still being worked on. There's a new... they do add updates every now and again, and at some point I will take another look at that as well. Probably not on camera, just take a look at it and see how it plays, and who knows, if it's improved significantly, I might even stick that back on the channel. But no, Real Farm was terrible. And that's my benchmark for Truck Driver. Yeah, I think the actual developer is different. Obviously, Sedesco are a publisher rather than a developer, so it'd be interesting to see how it fares. But I mean, Real Farm was released with very little build-up and very little fanfare and very little support once it was released as well. So yeah, I feel that was more of a cash grab, than anything else. I don't think this will be that. Nick says there's not even any branded trucks. Well, that doesn't matter. As long as it plays well, that's the important thing, because the trucks look good enough. They're not branded, but they look good. The gameplay on a game like that is going to be what's important, because I think for a lot of people, they're going to be spending a lot of time in cab rather than staring at the front of a truck, looking back down the road and looking at a badge on the bonnet. Yeah, Dan is not a captain, DQ. Not anymore. Dan's been put out to pasture. Left him on an old dustball planet way back where. And there he shall stay. Nick says, you know that everyone's going to compare Truck Driver to Euro Truck. Well, of course they are. That's what they're basing it on. It's always going to draw those comparisons, but that's just the nature of the game. There's nothing... there's only one type of game that's out there like that, and it's Truck Driver / American Truck Driver. Euro Truck and American Truck are both essentially the same game with a different skin. This is going to be a console version from a different publisher, a different developer. Who knows? In the future, it's possible. Probably not with this generation. Maybe with the next generation that will get the Euro Truck and American Truck franchises make their way over. There's talk that might be a possibility with their switching over to DirectX with a future update. But it's all speculation at the moment. Nobody knows anything for sure, and the developers haven't said. They said they're keen to explore the possibility, but that's all they've said. Which is what most developers that have a popular following on a console for a game that's only on a PC, they all say that. Doesn't mean they're going to do it. And if they are going to do it, doesn't mean it's going to happen quickly. Gold Rush have been telling everybody for a year now that yes, we're in talks with Sony and Xbox about getting Gold Rush onto PlayStation and Xbox, and nothing's happened in a year. I think people have just got bored of asking now. They got fed up of just getting the same answer every time. So a lot of potential interest that there was for Gold Rush has just dissipated completely, because they've said the same thing every time and given no kind of time frame or anything. We'll try running outside of the cab for a bit, I think. Let's get the doors closed. There we go. It's 2 miles down the road. Trying to get a good angle for a screenshot. Might have just missed it there, but we'll see. That might work. So we've got a smattering of snow on the roof, perhaps. Maybe it's just the light. Might just be the lighting. BK asks, how are the rails today? Slippery, but we're doing well. We're pretty much still on schedule, maybe a minute behind. But everything seems to be running pretty smooth. You can just see that the lights are on in the train. It's a little hard to tell, but they are on. A bit of a blizzard that we're running with tonight. Yeah, ETS has added brands as the game has progressed. It didn't have just, it didn't have everything that was completely unlocked. They had some unbranded trucks. I think American Truck Sim had unbranded trucks as well. And they've just been acquiring brands over the years to add into the game. I think when ETS first came out, I don't think Renault was in there. I don't think Mercedes was in there. Another brand in there that wasn't there as well. That's quite a prominent one that escapes me at the moment. I remember watching some ETS videos 2-3 years ago when those brands weren't there, and they were talking about them coming. So even games that do release, with branded equipment, they don't release with everything that's branded. Sometimes, they only release partial branded equipment and then mock stuff for the rest, and they have to kind of add it in as and when they can acquire it. Stefan asks, did I play or do I play Elite Dangerous? I did play it for a while last year, but it got really, really grindy, and I just didn't have the time. I was so busy with the sheer amount of farming sim content I was trying to put out that I just didn't have time to play it. I wasn't able to afford any of the ships that I wanted to get, without putting in a massive amount of work. Getting my Anaconda cost me so much time, because they changed right as I got the game and I played it for a little while, and then I stopped playing because I was busy, and then I went back to it, and right as I went back to it, they patched it, and they made passenger contracts a fraction of the value that they were worth before, and it just became so much harder to earn money. So I kind of stopped playing it. How do I buy my games? Do I get a disc or download from the store? More often than not, digital download. I mean, I don't tend to, unless it's something for the channel, I don't tend to buy games new. I don't have the money, so I generally get a digital copy on sale when it's comes down in price. Spider-Man, I bought that at Christmas, and that was on sale. That was I paid 30 quid, I think, for Spider-Man, including the city that I think it was 35, I think, and that included the City That Never Sleeps, DLC as well. And that was like 50 quid when it came out, plus extra for the DLC. So, I saved nearly half price on that and got a digital copy just by waiting a couple of months over Christmas. If I'd had more cash available, I would have also picked up God of War back then as well. But as it was, I picked up Detroit Being Human, which I still haven't sat down to play. I need to sit down and play that at some point. Brian asks, or says, he's wondering when Car Mechanic Sim is coming to consoles. Last I heard was 2 months ago. Yeah, it was supposed to come out in December, and beyond that, I don't know what's happened to it. I should, look into that, I think, and then hopefully next week I'll actually have some answers for you on that one. DQ says less than a month until Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. We're not starting in Russia, we're starting in Australia. Russia, I think, is 4th race on the calendar. But do I think Hamilton's going to win the championship? He's got the talent. It's just a question of whether he's got the car, and you can't read anything into early testing. I mean, it's what we've had 2 days of pre-season testing. It's way too soon, and times are notoriously hard to decipher at this stage of testing as well, because teams are running different fuel loads, different engine modes. They sandbag their cars. They're more concerned at this point with reliability and just figuring bits of the car out in terms of aero and stuff than they are actually looking for pace. Ferrari have looked strong, they've looked fast and reliable, but again, you can't say that that's going to be a definitive picture of how the season's going to start, because Mercedes typically tend to run a very, very conservative testing program, so you never really get a good indication of what their pace is until the first weekend, which is Australia. Okay, so due to a slight loss of traction because of the snow on the rails, we have now almost dropped 2 minutes. We're a minute behind still, but we're close to being 2 minutes behind schedule. But if we get a long stretch between our next stops, then we might be able to pull a little bit of that time back. Someone was asking me about a HOTUS earlier. Was it you, Stefan? Because if you had got designs on getting a HOTUS, by all accounts, cause I've got a friend stateside who bought a HOTUS purely for Elite Dangerous on his PS4. The HOTUS 4 is fantastic for Elite Dangerous. Takes a moment to get used to it, but once you get used to it, it's brilliant and really makes the game so much better to play, is what he told me. Because I was toying with the idea of getting one as well, but I just had a feeling that I wouldn't play the game enough to justify shelling out for one, and it turned out to be exactly the right call. Oh, somebody asked me as well. I think it might have been on Twitter. Someone was asking me about station announcements. I just heard one in my headset there. I don't know if you guys heard that, but as the doors closed, I heard an announcement. I don't know if it was in the train or on the platform, but I did hear one. Nicholas says, according to sources, it's coming. Car Mechanic is coming to console on the 31st of March. Yeah, I think games that get pushed back generally get pushed back to the end of March. That seems to be the favoured kind of window. So you never know. That might be when we see Truck Driver. It might be when we see Bus Simulator. God, can you imagine all three of those games coming out on the same day? Oh, that'd be a nightmare for me trying to figure out what to stick up first, or how to stick them all on the channel in some form or another. Is Bus Sim going to be multiplayer as well? Yes, from what I understand, if I remember rightly, it's been a couple of weeks since I saw the footage, but I think you can have up to 4 people playing in multiplayer at the same time. and you can all run on the same bus. So one person can be the driver, someone can be a ticket collector or a ticket inspector. You can have people just riding in as passengers, or drivers on other routes. So there will be multiplayer for bus sim. Pro Gamer has popped in the chat. How you doing, Pro Gamer? Do I think Seasons mod for FS19 will be out soon? Not soon, no. It will be out, it's just a question of when. I'm thinking probably sometime around summer to early autumn. Somewhere in that kind of window, I think. I'm not even sure if Realismus have actually finished making it yet. Might not be too expensive to get a hostess where you are, Stefan, but over here they're pretty pricey. They're about 75 quid is sort of the average price that I've seen, which is in the grand scheme of things, maybe not too expensive, but when you have a limited income like me, it's too expensive. Pecky asks, will I bring Detroit Human to the channel? I've been toying with the idea, but I don't know how. I mean, I don't have a strong enough internet connection to stream on a regular basis. I use my phone to power my live streams, and so I have to create a hotspot on my phone. And while the connection's good enough for that, I have unlimited data on the phone itself, but using it as a hotspot has a limit. And so I can only really stream once a week, or I start, potentially running out of data for hotspotting. So I think Detroit is a game that really would need to be live streamed, and I can't see how I can do it as a series without live streaming it. I don't know. I mean, part of the that game that makes that game quite special is the ability that you can involve your viewers in the choices and decisions that you make, and you need to be live streaming to do that. And so I've been toying with the idea of maybe running it as a series, but I don't think anyone will watch it as an episodic series. I think it would need to be live streamed, and I can't stream it. It's just going to require too much data to do that. Let's see. We've got over 1.5 miles to go, and it's now time for us to actually be arriving at that stop. So we're struggling a little bit for traction. We're probably going to lose a little bit more time along the route. It's to be expected in blizzard weather. We are in a blizzard. Will I be playing Spider-Man on the channel? Again, I've been toying with the idea of doing my New Game Plus playthrough, because I need to go back at some point and do a New Game Plus. I've already platinumed the game, so the only trophies I need to get is a couple of trophies for the City That Never Sleeps add-ons. But I've done all the storyline for the game itself. I've done all the storyline for the DLC, and I platinumed the base game. Just need a couple of the add-on trophies. But I haven't done a New Game Plus yet, and I've been toying with the idea of maybe doing a New Game Plus on the channel. Again, I think some people watch it, not many. And right now, there's other stuff out there that is more familiar to my audience that's either coming out, or about to get an update. So weighing it up, probably not. I'd like to, but probably not. Because I've just started a new series on City Skylines. I'm still doing Genesis Alpha 1. We're back on Farm Sim. We've got Truck Driver coming soon, Bus Simulator coming soon. New DLC for Railway Empire coming soon. There's a lot of stuff that's either about to drop or about to get an expansion on top of what we've just had as well. So there just isn't space. If I put up 6 videos a day, who's going to watch 6 hours of just me per day? A few hardcore fans might do, but in the grand scheme of things, hardly anybody. So it's just going to hurt some of the content. I'd rather put up 2 videos a day max than kind of overwhelm the channel and overwhelm the audience with too much content. That's why Marwell's only every other day. I mean, average recording time for each episode is around 3 hours on average. Then I have to edit it and get it rendered and get it uploaded. So theoretically I could do an episode every day, but I still have other videos to do. I have periods of time when I can't record, and it just puts pressure on to try and sit down and spend make sure I get at least an episode out every single day. For Farm Sim, it's easier to kind of record when I can, maybe do a couple of episodes back to back, and then just put them out every other day, and then it gives me the other day to put out other stuff. Katie says she's still playing with the idea of getting Railway Empire for the Xbox. If it pops up on sale, get it. It's well worth it. I'm sure it'll pop up on sale at some point. I mean, I don't know how frequently games like that pop up on sale on Xbox. I mean, it's been on sale a couple of times here on PlayStation since it came out. At least a couple of times. The DLC packs are all pretty cheap. Well, they have been up till now. The last one was the most expensive. They're all like $6.50 for the first three packs. Mexico was $6.50. The Great Lakes was $6.50. Crossing the Andes was $6.50. Not Railway Empire. Henna. That was the most expensive of the DLCs that come out. But they're all relatively cheap packs, and most of the packs only come with 1 or 2 new trains. Obviously there were 10 new locomotives with the last one, and there's going to be a number of new locomotives with the next packs as well, so they might be around £10 each as well. But it's worth it. The DLC packs aren't that expensive, and you don't have to have them all. You can play the game. There's plenty of content to keep you occupied in the game without the DLC. All the free stuff that gets added in with the updates isn't affected by having to buy a DLC. So yeah, it's a great game. It's a little pricey at £50 I think it is at base level, £48, £49, something like that. But if you get it on a sale, a bargain, worth it, definitely. Dan says he doesn't have 6 hours a day for me and apologises. DQ says, damn it, I am the water of life. How far behind schedule are we? 2 minutes. Still only 2 minutes. That's okay. We need a long stretch between our next two stations to try and make some time back up if we can. Take a little spin around, see if my wipers are going back and forth. Yep, there they go. This might be our thumbnail actually, if I can get the camera in a good position. A little bit of snow blustering around there. Let's get ready to close those doors. There we go. It would help if I could see where I'm going as well, wouldn't it? There we go. Let's spin around. Let's actually jump back in cab for a bit. Full throttle, 3.2 miles. There we go. We've got a slightly longer stretch, although we've got to do 3.2 miles in a bit, what, 2 minutes? No, less than that, a minute and a half. So we're still going to be late, but we might hopefully claw a little bit of time back. Maybe 10 or 20 seconds. Leroy's popped in the chat. How you doing, Leroy? Good to see you. Make that complaint, Dan, and I will have the police waiting for you at the next station for not paying for a ticket. I'll have you thrown off the chain. Martin says he's going to sound really stupid, but what is this alpha I keep talking about? It's Genesis Alpha 1. It's a roguelike space exploration game. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it. And you have the chance to be part of the crew, damn it! And then I'll let you die on an alien rock and just leave your corpse there and fly off to somewhere else. Dan's one of the few people that survived intact on the first mission. He then got retired. Next couple of episodes actually are going to be pretty interesting. So make sure you tune in for the next two episodes. Next one goes live tomorrow, I think. No, wait, it went live today, didn't it? So the next one goes live on Thursday, and then the one after that will be Saturday. So make sure, if you have been watching the series, make sure you check those two episodes out. A lot of drama goes down in those two episodes. Oh, it's so quiet in cab in this train. I forgot what it was like to be in a well-insulated cab in terms of sound insulation. It's been so noisy on some of our other trains more recently. Okay, we have made up. We have made up some time, look. We've made up about a minute so far. Thanks to that nice little run. By the time we get parked up, it'll be about half a minute that we've made up. But half a minute is half a minute. Well, I'm not going to complain about that. Bring her to a nice, comfortable stop. Perfect. Dion asks, is the city on City Skylines working again with people not moving in? Apparently, from what I've been told in the comments, there is a bug being discussed on the City Skylines forum about that. So I have found that switching the specialisation over to standard residential as opposed to eco residential has allowed people to move into those districts. So maybe it's just there was too much eco and not enough standard. Maybe you can't just go a full eco city, or at least not in the early days. Maybe you have to convert the city over bit by bit. I don't know. We'll have to see how it, keep an eye on it and see how it progresses as the series continues. But I have managed to get the population up a bit by switching the specialisation off and just having standard low density res. 5.3 miles. Here we go. We can actually possibly make up all the time we're missing. We've got 5 minutes, give or take, to arrive at London Paddington, which is the final stop. Which means the approach is going to be slow. It'll be fast for a bit, and then it will start to slow right down as we actually get close to London Paddington. So maybe not then. Maybe we won't make up much time. Martin says he's definitely going to check out Genesis Alpha after eating his pizza. David says, don't fall asleep at the controls. I've never fallen asleep on a live stream. I have fallen asleep in multiplayer in the past. I think I've told the story before. I fell asleep playing Age of Booty on PlayStation. PlayStation 3, I think. This would have been pretty much almost to the day, or certainly to the month, 10 years ago. I fell asleep at like 5 o'clock in the morning on a multiplayer session, or 4 in the morning, something like that, and actually won 3 games in my sleep. And then woke up, won the game that I was playing midway through, and then went to bed. I had an awesome teammate for the ones that I was actually asleep, and then I was just kind of bouncing around in a lobby, snoring down the microphone. And everyone could hear me snoring down the microphone. But that was 10 years ago. And it was either January or February 10 years ago. So almost, it's either exactly 10 years or just a fraction over 10 years ago that happened. That's a game I miss. Age of Booty. That was a great little game. I did ask the publishers, I forget who it was now, I did ask them when PS4 came out if there were any plans to bring it over to PS4, and they said you never know, and then promptly didn't. And so I did know. I just allowed myself to believe for a split second before reality sank back in and nothing ever happened. But that was a great little game. It was more popular on Xbox because it was originally an Xbox game, I think, and then ported over. So there was a much bigger player base on Xbox 360 than there was on PS3. But I was one of the top PlayStation users in the world on that game. Absolutely loved it. I spent loads of time playing that. There are two people that I played with on a regular basis. One of which we were a very successful duo for a long time. Then he stopped playing so much, and I partnered up with somebody else, and we became an even stronger duo. And we just demolished everybody. It got to the point where we just couldn't get a game because as soon as they saw who they were up against, they just quit out the lobby. And so that kind of heralded the end of the game for me, unfortunately. But every now and again, I created a second profile and snuck in as a second profile, and actually got that player up to the top of the leaderboards one week until people cottoned on that it was me, and then they stopped playing against that profile as well. So yeah, they were happy days. But long over, unfortunately. Certain Affinity, that was it. Thank you, Dan. I always remember, because I always used to confuse it with the people who did Modern Warfare, because that was Infinity Ward, and I always used to mix those two up. But yeah, we knew every trick in the book on best strategies on how to, advance our ships at the right time, which islands to conquer, and which order to collect them in to really maximise, different strategies for different maps. We were unstoppable, literally unstoppable. We didn't lose a single game in about 3 months. Every time we played, we won, and people just stopped playing against us because we just battered everybody. Oh, I guess you'd Googled it, Dan. Yeah, in terms of the people that played on the PlayStation, I would say I was in the top 3 in the world. I wouldn't say I was the best, but I was in the top 3. Okay, a little bit of brakes, slow down to 25. We're our final approach. There we go. We are a minute and a half behind schedule, so by the time we get in there, we'll be 2 minutes behind, which is what I expected. I didn't think, when I realised that Paddington was our final stop, I knew we wouldn't make any time up on this one because we've got this slow approach to the station. Let's ease those brakes on again. Take us down a little bit more. And there we go. We have arrived. Let's turn the wipers off. Doors are unlocked. Wipers should stop. Yep, there we go. Wipers are off. Ever thought of competing on a pro level? There's very few games that I'm that good at. Most games I'm passable. And I don't do competitive gaming anymore. It's my temperament couldn't handle it anymore. I got so ragey playing Battlefield 3. That was the last truly long run I had playing a competitive game. I platinumed that on the PlayStation 3, and then that was it. I stopped playing after that. I tried Battlefield 4 and didn't really enjoy it so much, and I tried the original Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront, when that came out on PS4 and hated that. It was just awful experience. and I just kind of stayed away from competitive games since then. We've got an X at Twyford. Our first stop, because we arrived way too early. That's ridiculous. Our other stops, we were late, and we were fine on that. That's British Rail logic for you. You're early? Shame on you. You're late? That's fine. It's no problem at all. So there we go. We have completed a service. Return service is at 7:57. That's the return journey. What do you reckon? Shall we return journey, or shall we pick a different time of day, different weather settings? What do you guys want to do? We've got 5 minutes until this is supposed to run. Change it up, says Dan. How many platinums do I have? On my old profile, I think 19, 18, 19, something like that. On my current profile, I'll check. Let me have a look. I think it's 2 or 3. It's 3 on my new profile, which has only been up for a couple of months. I've got 3, and they are Spider-Man, Farming Simulator 17, which I platinumed in a single day, and Subnautica, of course, Subnautica. Those are the 3 platinums I have. But I'm well on the way to a platinum for Tomb Raider Go, well on the way to a platinum for Farming Sim 19, for Construction Simulator 2. Those are all closing in on platinums as well. So within the next couple of months, I should be looking at maybe 6 or 7 platinums, depending on what else I get my hands on. Killer wants the return trip. Pecky wants different. Water wants different. He wants the freight scenario. Yeah, we could run some freight, I suppose. See another one of these ghosting in. Alright, let's... I need to actually run the scenarios again on this route pack, because I haven't run the scenarios on this. I ran them on my old profile. So we can do the freight scenario. Let's have a look. There's 2, I think. There was Aggregate Industries and Dragline. We'll do Aggregate Industries because we've already been streaming for nearly an hour and a half. So we'll do this one here. We'll do Aggregate Industries. This will be our final run for the day. And then I've had a few people asking about the NEC pack. Maybe we'll run NEC next week. I'll have a think about that. There is a new DLC coming out next week. I don't think I can afford it. And Dovetail have stopped sending me stuff for free. I had to pay for Northern Transpennine. So I might not have that DLC next week. Or at least I'm assuming it's coming out next week. It might actually be a little bit longer. It comes out on PC in a couple of days' time. I think 2 days it comes out on PC.
Set up for shunting and reverse the train through the discharge facility to get these wagons unloaded.
Right. I've forgotten how to run this train again. Like I said, it's been a long time. Slow speed. Turn the slow speed on. There we go. Set the reverser to reverse. So let's B control to 3. Oops. It's still going up. There we go. Press F1. Release the automatic brakes. Set throttle to notch 1. Okay, well, we have got some engine. I've got my brakes on. Automatic brake is released. Throttle's at notch 1, yet we're not moving. Let's up the engine to notch 2. There we go, we're slowly crawling back. So let's go to an external camera. Let's go to the rear camera. Get a little bit of speed up. You got 47 platinums. Oh, very nice, Stefan. Yeah. There was a period where I was quite interested in getting as many trophies as I could, and then started playing Farming Simulator, and I just kind of stopped playing everything else while I was playing Farming Simulator 17 for a long time. I put over 4,000 hours on that game. Well over 4,000 hours in the end. When I did my PlayStation Life thing back in November of last year, I think it was at 4,006, 4,007, I think, and since then, obviously, I stopped playing FS19 and actually went back to FS17 for a bit. So I probably added another 20 to 50 hours on top of that as well. So yeah, I put in well over 4,000 hours on FS17, and that was all I played for ages. And I just kind of stopped going after games with trophies. People are asking what's the DLC that's coming out. It's a new German expansion, very similar to the Rursig Nord pack that we've got. Same locos, I think, possibly, or similar locos. And that comes out on PC in a couple of days' time. It's a different part of the route. I don't know if it's going to stack up with the existing one. I think it might be a completely separate pack that's not connected. Looks pretty. But then they always do, don't they? I've been calling you Pecky, Martin, ever since you requested the industry on our mass transit city, and you wanted it to be Pecky's Limited. So I've just been calling you Pecky ever since then. It's got a touch more throttle. Oh no, we're set at 3, aren't we? 3 is our speed because we've got slow speed set. We can't go above 3 miles an hour. In fact, throttle notch 1 is dropping speed, so we need notch 2. Do I know if the Peterville map is coming to console? I'm guessing you're talking Farming Sim 19. I have no idea what that map is. I've never even heard of it. I want to go free camera for this. And we want to set up just about here. Alpha Rod is in the chat. How you doing, Alpha Rod? So yeah, there was a period of time when trophies seemed quite important to me, and then there was a longer period where I just didn't seem to care about trophies at all. But nowadays, I look at trophies as nice. I don't look at them as I have to get the platinum. I'll look at the trophy list and I'll see if I think the platinum's achievable, and if I think it's achievable, in terms of it's not going to send me insane trying to get it done, then I'll go for it. But if it's one that has a a big online component to it, then I won't bother going for the platinum, because like I say, I'm not really into the online gaming so much anymore. Who makes the Peterville map, just out of interest? Camera's stuck. I got stuck in the roof. I can't move. I'm gonna have to MJ modding. Like I said, I have no idea. There are a few mod makers that are looking to bring maps out. Dusty Dave is looking to bring his new map to console, and I don't think he even tried to stick a map on console with 17. I might be wrong, but I don't think he tried to bring one out. But he's apparently said that he's looking to bring his latest map, or his newest map will hopefully come to console. An HST whizzing through there as we slowly back into this unload point. Oh, we stopped moving. Why have we stopped moving? Maybe I accidentally hit the brakes as I was repositioning. It's possible. I'm still waiting to see what Black Sheep is doing with Oldstream. You know, I was a massive fan of the first version of that map that came out to console. People have said that that was version 1, and then when they did the update, that was version 2. It was always version 2. It was just version 2 and then an extension to version 2, because version 1 was a PC map, and then version 2 was the one that got released on PC and console. That was the second version. I think version 1 was the FS15 version, I think. So I don't know if this is going to be called version 3 or just Oldstream. I imagine it'd be Oldstream 19 or something like that. Plus we also know that NLD farmers, most probably Bart in particular, are working on Green River. I enjoyed that map on 2017. I was partway through a playlist on that map when I had some health issues and had to actually step away from the channel for about 3 months, I think it was. So I never really got to experience that map properly, and by the time I was ready to come back, you know, there was new stuff coming out, and I kind of just lost the interest in that that particular series. So I felt it had been away for too long to try and, you know, keep it going again.
That was great work. You should get that train over to Acton Yard, where it can be prepared before the return trip to the Mendips.
Has Oxygen David confirmed that Chellington is coming to... Oops, I need to release, not apply. Has Oxygen David confirmed that Chellington's coming to consoles? Because I know that somebody ripped off his map and he wasn't particularly pleased about that. But I was under the impression, and I don't know if this is 100% true, but I was of the impression that he wasn't going to be recycling any of his older maps. So we wouldn't see Sandy Bay, we wouldn't see Thornton, we wouldn't see Channington. We probably wouldn't see Portland Bill. Lone Oak would probably Lone Oak. Oakfield might get brought across, but he was looking at the maps that he was working on. I mean, there was the Irish map that he was working on at the end of 17 that never got released. I'm trying to remember what that one was called. So we're still waiting on that one. Obviously we've just had Marwell. So I'd be surprised if Chellington turns up. I really would. And if it's not him doing it, then it's not going to happen. But somebody very early on in the release of Farming Sim 19, one of the first mod maps that was available on one of those third-party sites was a very badly converted, illegally converted version of Chellington that Dave had taken down because he did not approve it. And from what I understand, it was Shamrock Valley. There we go. Yeah, apparently it was riddled with bugs as well. Shamrock Valley was supposed to come out on 17 and didn't, so I'm guessing Shamrock will make its appearance on 19. Oh, I hate it when you stop just a fraction short like this and you have to just eke forward just a touch. Come on, just eke forward. Just a little bit. We've got to go 3 yards. Right, that's got to be good enough. What? Check the external camera. Are you kidding me? Still got to move. Oh, I'll move forward a bit more. Have I gone forward too far? Is it really going to be that finicky? Nah, there we go. I was literally, 1 yard short. Ugh. That's annoying. All right. Let's get this baby rolling. Oh yes, Alien Gyms map's coming out soon as well. So there's a lot of maps in the works. It's not going to be a case of we're going to have no maps to play, in a month's time when some people are bored of Marwell and Bartelshagen and the Alps. I have to say, it's one of those weird things. I kept talking about the concept of having a map where you had to create your own fields, but that wasn't how I was talking about it. I was talking about I think the easiest way for me to explain this would be, remember the very small little Irish map and I'm trying to remember the name. The Northern Irish map was like 189 megabytes, tiny little thing, where you had a little blink and you miss it village, a very small little dairy farm with some sheep as well, and that was it. Loads and loads of grass fields, like 2-3 fields for crops. Really tight yard. Name escapes me right now. I'll recognise it as soon as someone puts it in the chat. I know I will. But imagine that map. Now, the fields on that, the grass fields, were actually pre-marked fields, so you could just cultivate them and it would destroy the grass and be soil. But imagine that map, but without preset fields, and they were just plots of native grass. So if you wanted a field there, you couldn't just run a cultivator on it or a directional seeder and boom, instant field. You would have to physically create your field inside the hedgerows of each of those sort of plots. That's what I was talking about, rather than just a big open space with no definition, no detail, just here's a go do what you want. That's the concept I was talking about. We have yet to see that, but I will be doing that if the new terraforming tool that's coming, if that has the ability to put in native grass as part of terraforming, then next time I find a map and we do our next series that I really want to play on, and it has kind of almost say a Marwell kind of feel, what I'll do is I will go in and I will paint over all of the existing fields so that we have to physically create those fields, and it will be a completely vacant lot. You know, the farm will be there, the field allocations, etc., but there will be no actual fields. There will just be a plot of land inside some hedges, and then we have to create the field within those sort of hedge boundaries. If we get that option with the terraforming tool that is being talked about in the beta test at the moment, if that makes it through and comes into the console, that's what I'll be doing on a playthrough at some point in the future. I will go in, buy the fields, paint over the fields and turn them into native grass, and then sell the fields off again, and I'll do it field by field if I have to, if budget is an option, but yeah, we'll do that so that we'll have just Ballincraig. Yes, thank you, Dan. That was the tiny little Irish map, Ballincraig Estate. But that's what we'll do, you know, and then I'll actually be able to actually try that concept that I talked about a year ago and see if it actually is a fun way to play. Because I don't know if it's going to work or not. You know, I honestly don't know. I think it has the potential to work, but it needs the right environment. You can't just have, like the Alps, where you just have this big open greens slab with, you know, a few dirt trails and nothing else, because it just feels like the map designer just gave up halfway through. There's no life, there's no detail, there's nothing. It's just green. Instead, make it make it a map like Marwell, but instead of having, because all the grass fields in Marwell are, again, they're pre-allocated fields, so you know, you'll see me attack one of those fields and turn it into a workable plot of land with a plough in the future, in the series. But all I need to do is just seed it with a direct drill seeder. I don't even have to rip it up, I can just seed it and boom, instant field. But in reality, you know, if you've got a big slab of grass and you want to turn that into a crop field, you would have to plough it out first. So, you know, that's real life. So that's what I would like to try and replicate in a future series, if we get that option with the customization, you know, painting tool in terraforming going forward. If we don't, then can't really do it, but we could try and fake it a bit by buying the field, planting grass, selling the field again as a grass field. But then if it's an AI controlled field, they might just remove the grass and stick a crop on it, which kind of defeats the object. So it would need to be a way to kind of remove the field through terraforming. Right, I need to slow down a bit more. gradually bleed this speed off. This is a big, long, heavy train. It's going to take a while to drop to 30. So we'll do it in advance. There's no time requirement on this one. It's distances. We don't have to be at a certain place by a certain time, which is good. Just bleed a little bit more speed. Uh, 166 whizzing past us there. Loads and loads of graffiti. Ah, Bill's popped in the chat. How you doing, Bill? Right. Oh, I've got to slow down again. We've got a 15 zone coming up as we take a sharpish corner and some points, I'm guessing. There we go. Got another Class 66 parked up just there. That was an EWS logo. I think we're running EWS as well. I'll check when we get outside. It makes sense for us to be running the DB Schenker livery, seeing as we're pulling a whole load of DB Schenker coal carts. Or hoppers. And Adam's popped in the chat. How you doing, Adam? Right, time to slow down a bit more. Hear those brakes squealing away to the train, pushing us forward still just a little bit. There we go. Right, I think we have to decouple, if I remember rightly.
You'll need to refuel before the return trip, so detach from the wagons and move the locomotive over to the fuel stand.
Oh, I remember this. You've got to go out through the side, haven't you? Oop. Yeah, we are. We're running EWS livery. Would make sense to be running DB Schenker, you know, given the payload that we were carrying, but never mind. So let's get uncoupled. There we go. Sit down. Release the brake and throttle forward a little bit. We've got a little way to go yet, Dan. We're not right at the end yet. Release the auto brake. Throttle up. There we go. And we'll do this externally. Let's go to the front camera. A touch more throttle, I think. Adam's drowning in F1 testing coverage. Yeah, I've been just watching the summary on BBC Sport just to get a flavour for it. I don't tend to pay too much attention to the first couple of days of testing. It's usually sort of the end of the first week, you know, once all that first 4 days is out, I start paying a lot more interest, and then I follow the second week a bit more intently. It looks like Williams aren't going to be running until tomorrow afternoon at the earliest. Their car is due to arrive in Spain, I think 4 or 5 in the morning. And then they've got to build the damn thing. Byron says, hi, and have I got FS19? Yes, I have. And I have videos up on the channel, including a new series on Marwell Manor. Episodes going live on that every 2 days. Next one goes live tomorrow. Alright, we're just using momentum here at the moment. No throttle. Throttle's turned off. Just to gradually move us forward. And once again, I am fractionally short of where I need to be by a yard or two. It's so annoying when that happens. Seriously? Still? There we go. Ridiculous. Right, let's use free cam for this. Oops, no, leave the reverser alone. There we go, camera mode. So we need to get, actually, zoom in this way. We need to get into this position here to refuel. So we need to do some signal switching, I think, possibly. We're okay here. We check the line down here. Yeah, we need to switch there. That's good. That's good. Okay, so that'll get us to about here. Then we'll back up into the refuel point over there. So let's focus back on our train. Put reverser in reverse. Release the brakes. Apply some throttle. And off we go. Adam says he's heard Paddy Lowe is in danger of getting the boot. He's certainly under a lot of scrutiny at the moment. Quite surprising that he's kind of made a big mess up. You know, I mean, apparently insiders in the team have been saying for months there are problems. You know, that there were going to be delays and issues getting the car ready in time, and the steps that could have been taken to prevent that weren't taken. Paddy Lowe has been quite successful within the sport in, you know, over the last sort of decade or so. So it's quite a surprise to hear him, you know, in that kind of trouble. But I think Williams are just organisationally an even bigger mess than McLaren have been over the last couple of years. McLaren actually looked pretty tasty today. It'll be interesting to see if that was a flash in the pan, or if that is, you know, something a bit more consistent. I'd like to see McLaren, you know, up and contending for, you know, for podiums next season, or this season, I suppose. Next season, that hasn't started yet, so technically next season. This season coming, let's say that. But yeah, his reputation has taken a hammering recently at Williams, and potentially rightly so. So there's those DB Schenker hoppers that we were pulling earlier. You see we're switching track now. And this is where we need to start to slow down. Throttle to 0, brakes applied. Nope. Yeah, there we go. Apply automatic brake. And we need to switch the points. There we go. And switch those points. And everything else now is good. So let's put our reverser into forward again. Spin the camera around. Release our brakes and head off in the opposite direction. Right, must make sure I don't overshoot and either hit the barriers or run off the track completely. I'm assuming there'll be a buffer at the end of the track. There we go, there's our refuel point. Let's just release the brakes a second. There we go, right. I need to get out the cab for this one. Make our way around to the other side of the train. Connect the fuel hose. Fuel cap is open. There we go. Oh, I'm going to turn the pump on, I think. There we go. It says refuel to maximum capacity. You don't get a gauge anywhere. It just fills up and stops. And then we have to turn everything off like that. There we go. So that automatically turns itself off. Let's pick the nozzle up. Put it back there. Rescrew the fuel cap.
Get it hooked back up to the wagons, and that'll be you done for the day.
And there we go. Yeah, we've got to hook back up to the wagons. And then it won't just be me done for the day, it'll be the stream as well. Let's see. Drop in the seat. Let's go external. Front camera. So, let's see. The wagons are here, and I think we have to go in on the other side, don't we? We've got to go to there first, so let's check our signals. Or our points, rather. We're good there. Which line are we on? Where are we? Oh, we're here. Okay, so we know we're good here. And here. And here. And there. And there. These should probably all be set for us, I think. But we'll check them anyway, just to make sure. Yeah, they're all set for us. So we... need to change to reverse. There we go. Release the brakes. Marcel, welcome to the chat. You've made it just in time for us to do the very last manoeuvre. Let's just trundle down the line at around about 10 miles an hour. Don't need to go too much faster than that. We're only going a few hundred yards. Lots of hellos being swapped in the chat right now. Everyone's saying hello to Marcel. Marcel saying hello to everyone. You'll all be saying goodbye again in a couple of minutes. Let's just pick the throttle up just a touch. We are slowing down, aren't we? I've just got a full page of just hello. No, I'm not feeling left out. I'm fine, Dan. I've had all my hellos earlier. Alright, nearly there. 130 yards. Throttle is off. Going to need to do the brakes in a moment. Let's just apply the auto brake just a touch. There we go. Are we going to have to switch the points ourselves? Let's have a look. No, it's switched them for us, look. Isn't that nice? Martin says, do you remember when we used to be standing on platforms and watch the trains go whizzing through that were supposed to stop? Yes, I have got a bit better at the game, thank you. Mainly because every time I look down at the chat to answer a question, I look back up and it's like, oh, that was the station I was supposed to have stopped at. It's trying to find the balance between answering the questions and not crashing into things or whizzing past things when I should be stopping. I'm starting to get the balance right. It's not flawless. You still make mistakes from time to time, but it's better than it was. So a nice little trip over these sidings here, moving through the points and onto the track where our freight cars are. I don't know if we have to, I'm guessing we're going to have to couple up to them. Just seems a bit odd that we would have to stop first rather than actually drive up to them and connect to them. Let's turn the throttle off, a little bit of brake on. It's going to stop me just short, isn't it? Go on, just roll forward a fraction more. Just a fraction more. Because you know how finicky it is on this particular challenge. There we go. Right. Oh, we do have to couple up, look. So I think this is it. This is the final action of the run, making sure we're coupled up to our freight cars. Zoom in for the extreme close-up of buffer on buffer action. Sounds almost dirty, that, doesn't it? Buffer on buffer. Kill the throttle. Just give it a little kiss. Just a little peck. Ooh, don't you like that? There we go. Let's get out and let's actually make the coupling. It's getting all very perverted all of a sudden. There we go.
Well done.
That was a job well done.
Break in the porter cabin by the car park.
Oh, I think I will. Thank you very much. Right, let's close the door. Run on over. David's comment got flagged for inappropriate language. Yes, hot buffer on buffer action there, with some intense coupling at the very end. Right, there we go. We have completed the freight scenario. We've completed Aggregate Industries. A job well done, I think, all around, with a very satisfying conclusion. So there we go. We've run some of the Great Western stuff today. Next week, I'm not sure what we're going to run yet. I'll probably decide on the day. I have had some requests for the NEC pack recently, so that might be what we run next week. We'll see. We'll see what happens on the day, but it's looking like that might be what we go with. Do some New York NEC stuff with the Amtraks. So. Right, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with another TSW Tuesdays live stream at the same time, same place, 8 PM UK time next Tuesday. And don't forget, of course, you can follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/JimBobPlaysGames. That's all one word. You can also find me on Twitter at JBPG_JimBob. Don't forget to check out the channel for my other stuff as well. And of course, we will be doing episodes of Marwell Manor and City Skylines and Genesis Alpha 1 alternating every couple of days as well. So plenty of stuff to keep coming back for. Thanks all for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon.